If you are tired of astrology that sounds like vague stereotypes and generalizations, then you might want to subscribe to my channel. My name is Aleena and welcome to Promethea Astrology. I am the astrologer for creatives and changemakers with the physics BS from Yale. Today we're talking about Taurus, and specifically Taurus Sun, Moon, and Rising in the overall archetype of Taurus. And the way that we get astrology to sound like not vague stereotypes and generalizations is by being able to connect what these archetypes mean to their core underlying qualities. So each zodiac sign has a planet that rules it, a quadruplicity, triplicity, gender, and symbol. And so I already have a video about the earth signs. Taurus is fixed earth, and also a video about the fixed signs, and also a video about Venus, which is the planetary ruler of Taurus, and also about gender in astrology. So I would recommend, if you want to really deeply and totally understand Taurus, that you also watch those videos. This is going to be a little bit more brief than that. I'm just going to get into the general archetype and specifically also get into the symbol of Taurus, which is the bull, because I have not yet covered that. And then also talk about how this applies to Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Taurus is the middle of spring, the most beautiful, or one of the most beautiful times of year, and also ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty. So this is related. The flowers blooming, life is coming forth again, and as an earth sign, this makes so much sense. So I think of the archetype of Taurus as being the sensualist because of its nature of being both earth and Venus ruled. So Venus is Aphrodite in the Greek pantheon, everything fine, beautiful art, creativity, aesthetics, love, harmony, romance, sensuality, and creativity, art. So when you take this into an earth context, then we get physical pleasures. So Libra is the air version of Venus, which tends to be more aesthetic intelligence and social intelligence, which is more of the air qualities. And then for an earth Venus, this is going to be someone who is a deep feeler and loves the bodily pleasures and sensations. Taurus is also the bull. So we think of cows and bulls grazing for grass, moving slowly. Fixed earth is the natural state that earth wants to be in. It's fixed, is rigid, and also therefore sort of relates to food. There is so much that is important to Taurus about food. Food tends to be extremely important to Taurus people and the way that we nourish and sustain ourselves. As a Venus-ruled sign as well, Taurus can be quite into being a little bit bougie, having finer things. Venus also is a significator of money, and so having just a lot of stuff can be part of Taurus, liking to collect fine little trinkets and having nice things, nice clothes, nice fabrics, nice foods. This tends to all be really important. Taurus is a little bit bougie, knows about the brands, and tends to probably want things that are fair trade, organic, grass-fed for their food, and just having the nicer things. They tend to really enjoy being cozy as well, just wanting to melt into the couch and have a nice relaxing time, maybe curl up with a book and a cup of tea and just enjoy life. That's kind of what Taurus is about. They tend to be strong nurturers as well, caretakers, and also teachers can be very strong with that as well, enjoying to sort of support and guide others. So for the strengths of Taurus as fixed earth, they tend to be quite committed and convicted to the things that they believe in. They are going to stick it through. They will be consistent, solid, dependable. They know what's for them and they know what's not for them. Strength with nurturing, caretaking, supporting, strength with food. Sometimes gardening too can be something that the Taurus is into, and just enjoying life and making life pleasurable and doing the things that are worthwhile. And then the challenges for Taurus can be being a little bit stubborn sometimes. Fixed earth and the bull, all of this is quite rigid. And so it can be very difficult for Taurus to sometimes admit that they were wrong or change their minds or be open to new or different perspectives. They can just be quite certain and stuck in their ways sometimes. And another sort of weakness of Venus, the planet of beauty, harmony, romance, can be that Venus is more oriented towards what is comfortable and is opposite in the zodiac always to signs that are ruled by Mars, which is our planet of bravery. And so Venus can be sometimes lacking this brave nature. And so sometimes Taurus can sort of lack the necessary bravery to get out there and do new things, do the hard, uncomfortable thing, try something new, be vulnerable. All of this can be scary for Taurus, opposite to Scorpio, which is the emotionally brave one, as a water sign ruled by water, emotion, Mars, bravery. So that will be things that are more difficult for Taurus. And one way this can sometimes work out that I've noticed is that Taurus, as an earth sign ruled by Venus, loving the physical pleasures and physical sensations, can, just as one example of how this can look, is sometimes Taurus people might be very drawn towards cuddling and being physically affectionate and having that cozy, supportive physical feeling with another person, but can also sometimes be too scared to ask for that, or to be vulnerable enough to put themselves out there to say that that's something that they would like, because that can be kind of scary. And sometimes spending money can be difficult for Taurus too. Sometimes they like to spend a lot and have a lot of nice things, and it's like, I understand that this is nice, but do you really need that? So depending on where the Venus is placed for them as well. Venus also is your relationship to money, so depends on a few things, of course. Everything is relative to everything else. I'm just speaking broadly and abstractly, and no one is just one thing. Taurus is only going to be a piece of you, even if you have Taurus Sun, Moon, and Rising. There's going to be other planets, other places, and everyone has all 12 zodiac signs present. No one is an archetype. We are embodied humans. These are just pieces of us that can help us understand ourselves. So don't feel limited or too attached to any of these archetypes. They are simply archetypes. So in addition to being fixed earth ruled by Venus and the bull, all of these things kind of oriented towards food. Venus, the physical pleasure and sensation of food. Earth, literal food. Fixed earth, the earth itself, the bull grazing. Also Taurus is ruling the mouth. In each zodiac sign has a body part that it is associated with. So food just is so important for Taurus in general. And if you're not a Taurus person, that might sound kind of trite, but food is central. It's how we build community. It is how we relate to land and our own bodies. Food is such a big deal. So as a Taurus person, I just want to validate that for you, if this is resonating, that this is actually really important. And especially for Taurus Moon, which is the body and how we relate to our body as well. So to get into Taurus Moon a little bit, the moon is exalted in Taurus. This is one of the moon's favorite places. The moon is raised up to her highest peak. It's not her literal queendom. The moon rules Cancer, but this is the moon's second favorite place. People love the moon in Taurus. The moon is very popular there. The moon in Taurus, these tends to be people who are just so nurturing and supportive, often enjoy gardening and food and just the pleasures. Everything that I was saying about Taurus, the moon is already the body, and Venus, Earth, is the physical body and relating to it and feeling good and the pleasures of the body. So a Taurus moon is just gonna be so comfortable and so cozy and able to really create comfort, cozy, supportive, nurturing environments for others to learn and grow and relax and heal as well. And tend to be people who really take care of their bodies, who really value the body and have a healthy, responsible relationship to their body, unless there is some Saturn square, Mars square, some bad thing happening or some difficult, challenging thing happening to the moon there. Generally, a Taurus moon is going to take care of their bodies, and that will be a priority and a strength of theirs. And have a healthy, nurturing, supportive relationship and take the time that is necessary to be healthy, sustain yourself, feed yourself, get the sleep, take the rest, all of that. Also, a Taurus moon can be the literal mother in addition to being the emotions and the physical body, and so it can be qualities you inherited from your mother. So a Taurus moon, these could be a mother who was quite nurturing and supportive and lovely. That can be a thing, or the way that you experienced her as a mother was this way potentially. And sometimes it can flip. Sometimes I find people more relate their moon sign to the father, but usually the moon is the mother. And then Taurus Sun would be potentially qualities inherited from the father or the way that you received your father's fathering. So Taurus Sun, now this is the mind, the persona, the ego, the intellect. And so you get a little bit more of the stubborn nature of Taurus for a Taurus Sun because it's in the mind and that fixed nature of the mind, fixed earth. And maybe on the shadow side of a Taurus Sun too, a little bit less ideologically brave, more like let me stick with what I already know, what I'm certain of, and not venture out too far into the unknown. Sometimes even fear of things like substances or mind-altering things, because that can be kind of mentally scary or something like that. Not that that's necessarily good or bad, just something that I have noticed with Taurus Sun people. And these people might be more nurturing in like a teaching way, might be more oriented towards supporting others' learning and growth, and can also just have a very grounding presence for both Taurus Sun and Moon. Just really stable, solid, dependable, grounded. This is the most grounded of all the signs, fixed earth. It doesn't get more earthy, stable, grounded than that. Plus with Venus being oriented towards peace and harmony and all of this, it can be really quite lovely and grounding presence. Sometimes a Taurus Moon might be physically a little bit more slow too, as it's the body. And for a Taurus Sun can be just maybe not as much of the mind racing, rapid thinking, kind of more comfortable with their ideology, not inclined towards overthinking as much, able to just enjoy life and the simplicity of life. And then for Taurus Rising, this is going to be the totality of who you are, mind, body, and soul. So everything that I have said for both the sun and the moon will apply for Taurus Rising. This is the totality of who you are. This is the real archetype of you underneath it all, notwithstanding your family, where you come from, your culture, the moment in time you're born in. This is sort of the archetypal nature of you. And it will be extremely important for you to understand your Venus sign if you have Taurus rising, because there are 12 different iterations of what Taurus can mean depending on what your Venus sign is. Venus rules Taurus, so the type of Taurus that you are will be colored by which sign Venus is in for you. And whatever sign Venus is in, that planet will represent the totality of who you are as well. So it'll be extremely important to really get behind what is this version of Aphrodite. If you have a Pisces Venus, then that'll be a more mystical Taurus and maybe more creative as well. If you have an Aries Venus, then this will be maybe a more passionate, and potentially sex might be even more important if it was an Aries Venus ruling Taurus. Or if you had a Gemini Venus, then it would be maybe a little bit more intellectual, socially creative or something like that. So you'll want to really do a deep dive into your Venus sign if you have Taurus rising, and consider all of this in the context of who that version of Venus is, because that version of Venus is you. So I think that's all that I'll say about Taurus for now, but please leave me a comment. Let me know if this is you, if this wasn't you, what kind of landed or didn't land, what your Taurus placement is, and we can connect with other Taurian folks in the comments to learn how this has worked out for them. Or if you would like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, of course, I would love nothing more than to talk to you about your astrology. I am a consulting astrologer, and there's a link in the description if you would like to book a reading with me to talk about how we can really understand who you are, tap into your core nature, and activate your full potential. There is nothing that I enjoy more than helping people to understand the latent greatness that is inside of them using the tool of astrology. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions in the comments or through my website. And don't forget to check out the video on Venus. That will be very important. And also on earth signs, and also on the fixed signs, and also on gender, to help really understand what Taurus is and why and where these things come from. Thank you so much for being here. Be well.